What is going on, everyone, and welcome into another episode of Expected Bets 4. On today's episode, we'll be breaking down the Eastern Conference Finals Game 2 between the Florida Panthers and the Rangers. We'll also touch on Game 2 in the Western Conference Finals between the Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars before we get into the East. Betsky, how are we doing out there in Arizona?
Oh, pretty good. It's almost pool weather. I think we're going to take a dip this weekend.
Yeah, even in Boston right now, I think we're high 80s, which is crazy.
Ooh.
So perfect Memorial Day weekend weather here. Very tempting to crack one, and I probably will in about 5 minutes here.
Good.
So why not?
Yeah. Still only 2:00 for me, so I'm working on some nice tea.
You maybe got to wait till about 2:30, so maybe halfway through you can join me on that one. Franco, how are we doing out there in Philly?
I just got out of the pool, so I'm
really
way ahead of you guys.
Well, okay, so is it like a normal pool that's heated?
No, it's like a not like inflatable. Some of the fill up kind. I mean, it's 3.5 feet deep, so it's decent. And
Gotcha.
I mean, I have kids, so like as soon as it's possible to go in the water, like I'm the one that has to go in because my wife's like, I'm not going in there. It's too cold. I'm like, all right. It's hot. Yeah. It's hot enough for me, man. I'm good. Like once I get in, I'm ready to roll. So it felt great.
Yeah.
And
our pool. It takes a long time to get warm enough. Usually, like right now, it'll probably still be a little chilly. But
yeah, I think
we got a nice
80.
10-footer.
It's like 81 degrees right now, so it's not too bad. The pool temp.
No, nice long weekend. Started early on Friday here. Let's get into game 1 here. Or game 2, excuse me. So we got the Rangers versus the Panthers tonight. Florida won game 1 here, 3-0. Tkachuk, Verhaeghe, Bennett all get on the board with the goal here. Pretty interesting first game. Florida kind of dominated the play. They were able to get guys in front of Shesterkin, which led to the majority of their chances here. Verhaeghe's goal, you can credit to Lafreniere on that one. So, I mean, if New York fans didn't love him already or hate him, you can really spin it either way at that one. So he's been interesting. I mean, last year, he have 0 points in the first round series.
Yeah.
This year, he's kind of been much better. So, but I'm sure that brought back some bad memories for Rangers fans on that second goal here. I'll start with you here, Betsky. As we head to game 2 here, are you going to stick with Florida or are you looking to back the Rangers tonight?
I'm having a really hard time picking a side here. We were kind of talking about pre-show, though. I do prefer the under again. I could see this looking a lot like last night, maybe a 2-2 game that goes to overtime. So maybe this is a spot where you want to take a draw. I do feel like if Rangers don't get this, you may be able to close this up unless they can take 2 in Florida, which the Panthers have not been as sharp at home as kind of the mystique of them during the regular season. So
yeah, they've got a better road record.
Yeah. So this could be something where Rangers can take 2 away, but I don't know. Isn't this how we thought Carolina was going to play against the Panthers? Just frustrate the hell out of them, hog the puck, wait for them to make the other team to make a mistake, and then after that, just control possession, right?
Yeah.
And by doing it, and the scoring has only come in like very gritty ways. I know the Tkachuk goal was a little bit more outside the circles, but hell yeah, David. But this is, I mean, Paul Maurice has been just unbelievable and throughout the entire playoffs and throughout the season, the regular season, really. This really feels like, the whole like 40 chess thing, and he's winning right now.
Yeah, the Rangers are playing Uno and the Panthers are playing chess pretty much at this rate. It feels like, the big concern for Florida too coming into this series was going to be how can they defend the Rangers on the power play. Florida was the second most penalized team heading into this series, but they only took 2 penalties in the first game and shut both down. I think the Rangers kind of, if Florida continues to play this disciplined style of hockey, which they traditionally haven't, I think this series is all but over for the Rangers here. I mean, their 5-on-5 numbers are the bottom third of the postseason. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get that power play going tonight. Franco, what are you looking at here in game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals?
Well, it's funny. We kind of like ragged on the Rangers, even going back almost two to 3 years, I feel like, at this point, as far as like their 5-on-5 play being just not good enough and being such a power play heavy team or just reliant team, I feel like. And they kind of fell dead at the end of that Kane series. Even it's not necessarily just this series, going over 2. I think they only hit 1 for their last like 6 or 7 or something like that against Carolina too. So not ideal for them, because if you're back in the Rangers, you want to see a power play opportunity here. You want to see like 3 or 4 opportunities, but if they're not going to capitalize on them, then that's massive. I tend to think, though, in general, this shifts a little bit in both ways. I know Betsky said he's on the under, but I tend to just, we'll see. I mean, really, but I lean Rangers here, and I lean back to the over again. I think it had hit like 19 times in a row over 5.5 between these two teams. So
wow,
and it just feels like one of those things where like now it just seems so obvious to take the under that and anybody that did like that over going into that last game and got burned by it is going to be just laying off, and the books are just going to kind of like slaughter us all. Anybody's going to take the under, and then everybody that liked the over previously is just not going to take it or just lay off. So I kind of want to go back to it. I just feel like there's enough offensive firepower on both of these teams, and I can't see the Rangers power play just continuing to fail like they have. So I don't know. I kind of like that Tarasenko, the opposite end of it, to be honest with you. I saw the under posted here. He has looked good in revenge spots in his career, to be honest with you, and this does fall into that category. He hasn't been fantastic, but you're talking about a guy that's playing on the top line. All he has to do is accidentally touch a puck before Barkov sets somebody up, and or he gets set up. You know what I mean? So I kind of lean to him actually recording a point. So I'm really hesitant because I got completely burned because everything I had was involving points and goals in that first game, and it just I got slaughtered the other day. So playing a little bit more hesitant, but like I said, I lean Rangers and I lean back to that over. We'll see if I tomorrow.
I saw you also posted a prop today. Do you want to go into that one?
Yeah, so I had 2 props. One was Hedel, so Hedel's getting bumped up to the top line with Zibanejad and Kreider. So it's just one of those situations where I think Rangers fans have been very excited about this kid. He's had a lot of struggles staying healthy and stuff like that, and maybe he finally is healthy, and getting top line minutes is just crucial for him. We've seen flashes in the past playoffs, even last year he was productive on that top line. So I like it at the value. You're getting plus 190, which just feels insane considering who he's playing with. Similar to that Tarasenko idea, where it's just like he just needs to touch the puck before somebody else produces. Even if you don't believe in his talent, right? He's getting those minutes, he's getting the opportunity. So plus 190, he should be nowhere near that. And I don't know if the books have adjusted yet, but it's just silly. The other one is going to be kind of like the inverse of that, where Roslovic was getting top line minutes. Now he's getting bumped down to the bottom 6 role here. So, and he wasn't very productive regardless. Now he's going to get less playing time. So I love his under on points. Obviously it's a minus 200 play, so you have to parlay it with something. I did it with Rangers plus 1.5 because, like Betsky said, I think this could be an overtime type of game, a 2-2, 3-2 late type of game. So I am hesitant to just grab Rangers money line straight, even though I do believe they're going to bounce back in this game. So give me that 1.5 with Roslovic under. That gives you plus 115. I love the value on that. It gives me a little bit of safety to take the Rangers. And yeah, I feel like it's a good look.
Yeah, I have 2 live props here that are both relating to the most goals scored in the series that I'm curious to hear what your input on this is. So on Florida's side, I got Carter Verhaeghe at plus 330 for the most goals in the series. He had 1 in game 1, so he's tied with Bennett and Tkachuk. But if you look at Verhaeghe, he was tied with Sam Bennett with the most shots on goal in the first game. He scored in 5 of his last 10 matchups against the Rangers, and he's leading the Panthers in goals this postseason with 7. You look at his line mates, Tkachuk, who's got 11 assists, which leads the Panthers, and Lundell with 7 assists, who's third on the team. So he's playing with 2 playmakers as well. And to get that at plus 330, I don't think that's terrible value, but I'm curious to see what your thoughts are on that.
I definitely don't mind that. Yeah. I think you're mostly probably going to be worried about his competition on those line of Tkachuk at this point.
Yeah.
On the Florida side.
I have 2 on the Ranger side too that I'm curious to hear your thoughts about as well.
And you know what? We've already seen this happen, and granted, it's only game 1, but round 1 of the playoffs was all Tkachuk Verhaeghe line, right?
Yeah.
The top line got, obviously produced a little bit, but I think a lot of the Barkov and Reinhart points were even on power plays, right? Round 2, it totally flipped, and Barkov and Reinhart really dominated Boston, and Tkachuk was pretty damn quiet. And now we're seeing that potentially flipping again. Granted, only game 1, but I think we were talking about this from the get-go of the playoffs of don't get married to certain players round to round, because coaches are going to switch things up. They're going to want to potentially have certain lines defend certain lines. I think probably one reason why we saw the Barkov Reinhart line explode a lot in that second round was, think of who they had to match up against. I think the Tkachuk line was up against the Pasta line for the most part. And then by the time Marchand was gone, that means what? Barkov and Reinhart are up against Heinonen and Charlie Coyle and DeBrusque. Like, that's not something. So I'll need to kind of look to see how lines are deployed from game 1, but I suspect Barkov and co are up against the Zibanejad Kreider line for the most point, and obviously Panarin, Lafreniere, and Trocheck are extremely talented players, but Tkachuk and Verhaeghe obviously can exploit them too.
Yeah, they're not nearly as good as them defensively. I mean, we know Kreider and Zibanejad play on the PK even, so we know they have that talent. But also, don't forget, like the line matchups can shift, when this moves back to Florida, or hell, I mean, Laviolette might decide, oh shit, they burned us game 1, maybe we flip it. So it really does get to be game to game, series to series for sure, but it can start to become game to game. So you just got to kind of stay fluid. I love that they're giving us the opportunities to get these like point props live, goal props live, more so than in the past on a few of the books. So that's another thing to keep an eye on. Like if you see that Tkachuk's line is flying and they're getting tons of opportunities in the first period, I wouldn't mind going something live there too. Like maybe you sprinkle him live to score or second period point, or whatever it is, and you're getting way better value than you are now. You can't even bet his point prop pregame.
Yeah. On the opposite side of that, if you were to take Rangers to have the most goal in the series too, the 2 guys I highlighted, obviously, I think Kreider is one of them. You can get him at 10-1 right now, which I don't think is terrible value. And then even Trocheck at 14-1. Those are kind of the 2 guys I had targeted. Kreider, obviously a mainly shooter, 7 goals this postseason, hitting 5 his last 10 against the Rangers. And then on that line with Zibanejad, who's that playmaker, and then Roslovic got bumped down. So that's another thing to mention. But any other guys that you would kind of look into that market in terms of most goals this series?
No, I think those are the top 2 for the Rangers side. Kreider, especially on the power play, if Florida starts taking more penalties, there's obviously that opportunity. I guess the only third, and you could probably get some great value on it, is does Lafreniere come out pissed after that own goal and step up? And I believe Panarin has good history against Miami, like most Russians do, but I'll need to look into that.
He's hitting 5 of 10 versus them.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's crazy. His drop off from where he was early in the season, just in general, like I felt like he was hitting like 2 points every game, scoring almost like every other game, hitting 4 shots every game. And he doesn't seem like that player anymore. I don't know if it's what it is, but he hasn't been nearly as productive. It's felt like in the last like few months, really. I mean, he's had flashes.
Yeah, his struggles in the postseason too. You look at his numbers in their first round series versus Jersey last year. He only had 2 points, 2 assists. Yeah. So that was kind of the big question mark coming in too, was can he rebound from that performance? And I think he has, obviously, just by his numbers. But in terms of the production you're looking for, the amount you're paying him, I don't know if that necessarily matches up.
No, definitely not even a chatter for Conn Smythe or anything like that.
No, I wouldn't say so at all. Any other props that you guys are kind of looking at in this Florida Rangers series, maybe tonight or in the future as well?
Franco, did you say Hedo point or shot?
Well, I said Hedo point. That was what I locked in earlier because it was plus 190. But I don't mind a shot if you were going to talk about that.
No, I wasn't because he has 0 shot attempts.
There you go.
I think on the Florida side, the 2 shots I'm interested in there at like a bettable rate are probably Verhaeghe. He hasn't been very consistent all playoffs, and he doesn't have great history against the Rangers, but he had 11 attempts on 5 shots last game. Bennett's kind of interesting because he's been moved to the 3rd line. He's plus 125-ish. He's been pretty good in his last 10 and in the playoffs so far. He's had some absolute duds, but his volume's been consistent, 5.5 shot attempts over the last 10. And on that 3rd line, he's probably able to just kind of be the shot hog. And so he's not with Tkachuk and Verhaeghe. He's probably generating a lot of that offense with Evan Rodriguez and Lusteranian, maybe, but is Lusto hurt? Anyways, I think I'm willing to take the gamble on him tonight. Rangers are pretty bad against centers right now in the postseason and defensemen. And I took that bait with Montour last game and got burned pretty bad for shots. But
yeah, I would agree so too. Yeah, I had Bouchard last night too of 2.5 in regulation, and he finished with 2 in regulation, and then he grabbed 2 more in overtime. So I got burned there big time. Any Rangers props tonight? I haven't seen many people kind of post them online or in any of the articles that I saw today.
It's tough. I mean,
are you almost looking at like if you're going to back the Rangers tonight? Are you just looking at the money line?
I mean, it's hard to not want to take advantage and assist again.
Yeah. I don't mind that.
It seems dumb to not. It's minus 105. It's like plus money for something he's hit in 13 of his last 15 games. Like that's 87% hit rate. It shouldn't be that low, you know?
Yeah. I agree.
So he missed last game. Obviously, nobody had a point on the Rangers, so I can see people backing off. But if you're going to trust those top 2 lines, why wouldn't you take the guy who's hit that prop in almost 90% of the time in the last 15? And then Trocheck kind of feels like a guy where you could do his assist is even money. So if you were to do a half unit on his assist and then a half unit on his goal and he gets a point, you're coming out, right? Or at least, yeah. And if you are thinking that the Rangers are coming back and that the power play is a big aspect of why, those are probably the 2 I would like the most. I like the Hedl as like the extra value because he's on the top line. We've talked about top line wingers. If you can get them at a bettable price, it kind of feels dumb not to. Those would probably be the chalky ways I would go.
Yeah.
No, Lafreniere, this could be a great night for him. His shots may be the pick here, actually. He's got to be motivated. He's over 2.5. He hit last game.
And it's plus money, too.
It's plus money. Yeah. He had 6 attempts last game. You know he's going to want to make up for playing soccer against his own team.
I was gonna say, yeah. I was like, did they count a shot on goal versus Shesterkin? Well, maybe just leans into that and just starts firing a few on his own net if he's at that 2 mark with 5 minutes to go.
Might as well.
All right, I got one. I'm looking through some more like lines. So, Rangers first period to score a goal is -135. That's bettable right now. I mean, I'll probably wait a little bit to get closer to even money. Like I don't mind waiting 3 or 4 minutes live. But if you don't mind that juice, I might shop it around too, see if I can get a better price. But come on, man, like this is do or die for them, right? And we kind of talked about this beforehand, and I see David in the chat mention it too, that the Rangers didn't shoot much, and they didn't have like a lot of I feel like they didn't have a lot of good like shots in good areas. Let's put it that way, right? Like nothing in the high danger areas. No, like real dangerous cross seam passes we're getting through. Florida was very sound defensively, and it was almost like a dominant performance really defensively. I thought just how muffled the Rangers were at home in MSG. You would think they would come out at least in that first period firing pucks and just playing with a ton of energy. I can't imagine that they do the same thing tonight. Like they need to come out, a 9-10 shot first period, see if they can get through Bob early, get a power play, get some screens in front of the net, just get pucks on net. Like I don't understand. I feel like we've been seeing this a lot recently where these first periods have ended like 4-6 in shots.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's nothing fine, but like, how do either of your teams expect to win this game? You have to throw pucks on net. Like, I don't care if they're from a shitty angle or from the point or whatever the case is. Like, find space, find that pass and get shots through. Like, it doesn't have to be that perfect pass, like that extra pass. A guy's coming in on the wing and just throw it on the net. Let's see if you can get a rebound, anything. Like, I don't understand it sometimes when you just see these guys looking for that one play that just doesn't work. So I don't know. I like that value. I feel like Rangers have to bounce back here, regardless of whether they're going to win in reg. I feel like they have to score in that first period. I don't know if Rempe's in. I know that's like another one of those, hot topics, so to speak, in Ranger land, where some people want them, some people hate them, and all across NHL in general, I feel like, right? But like,
yeah,
I feel like the hardest thing for Laviolette to decide is like, if he's going to play him, he can't play him just in the first period or for 4 minutes a game or 5 minutes a game. Like, you have to roll with them. So, I don't know. Like, you can't. Florida's so physical, and I feel like you need to have a guy like that. Like they have enough guys that can score.
Mm-hmm.
Why not let him provide some energy? Like shift that line in every now and then. Let him lay a big hit on Kachuk or somebody, one of the defensemen on, dump it in and lay out Forsling or something like that, right? Like you get in the defenseman's head, because those guys just are shutting you down. Like they need to be better, just in general. And maybe that's what it takes to kind of change the series around a little bit.
Yeah, I think your only concern with putting Rempe out there is he goes out in the first 5 minutes. If you put him out there, try to set the tone, he takes a dumb penalty and you go down 1-0 early. I think that's kind of the biggest red flag that the Rangers are looking at if they put him in the lineup. And you look at the opposite side of who on Florida would step up and fight him.
Who?
Well, you don't need to fight.
Yeah.
Lomberg will be like the only guy, but like if I was Lomberg, I wouldn't want to fight that guy. I'd get killed.
I was gonna say,
Mikkola.
Yeah, well, Mikkola did have that the big hit at the end of the game that people were trying to put.
Well, and that's another reason. That's another reason why. Like, how do you not have Rempe out there just for that? Just to kind of say like, hey, we're not taking your shit. Like, we're gonna push back. I think if you're Laviolette, you say, hey, keep the elbows down. Don't listen to Trouba. All right, Rempe, and take guys to the boards. Make sure you don't see numbers, and that's why I want to dump it in, and I want you to hit whoever you see. That's it. David. Nothing else, and then come to the bench. That's it. Don't take a stupid penalty.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue who provides more value to the Rangers at this point, Rempe or Jimmy Vesey. We were talking about him before the show started. Of It feels like he just finds his way on a playoff roster every year.
I know.
Yeah.
I remember getting so pissed that he held out and like forced his way onto the Rangers, and how the Rangers always get all the best players, and then he just
didn't do anything.
Yeah, the Hobie Baker Harvard product didn't turn out too well there. But any other props picks that we're looking at here before we switch to the Western Conference? It's a tough game too. I mean, it's a great series. Don't get me wrong, but in terms of picking a side total or even kind of laying into the props, it feels very challenging.
It's tough when the first game's a 3-0 shutout.
Yeah,
because you don't feel like you have any read on the other team, right? And I think the more we're talking about it, the more I'm thinking about just doubling down and taking the over and
join us on the dark side.
And I'll either, because the over is plus money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's plus.
I'll either win a couple bucks, or I'm gonna lose a couple.
Yeah,
but because another prop I was looking at, it's hard. It's kind of like Zibanejad, especially if you like Verhaeghe to score. Tkachuk assist looks great.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I took Barkov last game and did not.
Barkov's history against them is crazy. He like records 2 points almost every game.
I know.
I sprinkled that, obviously, nothing.
Yeah. So is it going to just completely switch today, or is it kind of like what we were talking about before, where that Tkachuk Verhaeghe line is going to be the one that gets all the juicy matches and capitalizes on it?
Yeah, the one prop you did mention that I liked a lot was that Lafreniere shots on goal, because we look at the Rangers here, so their first line's getting changed, their third line's getting changed. If that first line doesn't start to click early, you could see kind of things being shifted. Maybe they're going to get less ice time, but that second line remains consistent there as well. And then you have kind of Lafreniere coming off that. He had his last game, but kind of bad taste in his mouth with that second goal here. And you're getting that plus 105 on DraftKings. So in terms of a prop that I really love in this game, I think that's got to be it. Because you do expect the Rangers to come out more, and he is on that power play unit. I can't see the Panthers only taking 2 penalties again. I think they're at least going to be 3 or 4 here. At least 3 or 4 in this game. So, which again just leans itself to the over of they're probably going to get on the board. Maybe if they go 1 for 4. If they get 4, they have to get 1.
I think I've been converted, and I think I'm going to place the over bet and just. Now I'm not going to lose a unit. I'm going to either make a little bit over, or whatever.
It's Memorial Day weekend. You don't want to bet an under on Memorial Day weekend. Come on.
That's a good point.
Yeah. You got to factor that into the model.
Yeah, this is very true. His point could be a good little play too.
Yeah, I don't mind that either. Like, I saw that he had like friends and family in for that last game, and obviously he put up that performance.
Boy.
So, I wonder, are they still there? I mean, that was only a couple of days ago, so are they there again? Typically that's like a buy spot for a player, but
that's a silent car ride home if I've ever seen one.
One more thing I want to point out.
At him in French.
So,
oh God, yeah.
Before game one, the series totals to go to 6 and to 7 were like sub 200. I think it was like 180, like 160 and 190 or something like that. Like, it was heavily juiced towards this going the distance essentially. And with Florida winning on the road, now we're getting great numbers on that. So I might do the go 2 units total, a unit on each for 6 games, 7 games. You're getting plus 210, plus 240 on DraftKings, and as long as we get there, you're going to be coming out on top. So I don't mind that either, because if the Rangers win tonight, that just drops right back down. So I feel like this series feels destined to go all the way, at least 6, right? So
yeah,
regardless of what we saw in game 1, that was a 1-0 game for pretty much the entire game. When it really comes down to the score, doesn't really indicate what we saw.
I had those 2 props listed as well, and you figure if you're looking at the Rangers of just getting 2, Shesterkin will probably steal a game here in this series. Despite not having a great regular season, he has been fantastic this postseason. So expect him to steal 1, 2. And then I think the Rangers can find a way to win. Maybe it's tonight, or maybe it's one on the road in Florida as well. But I don't mind that at all. Plus 210, like you said, that 6 games is pretty tempting. And who knows what happens tonight. So the series could flip. 3-0 game in the first one, really not indicative of this Rangers team at all. So don't mind that. All right. Any other closing thoughts here before we move on to the Western Conference Finals?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, let's do it. We had the game 2 of the Western Conference Finals between the Oilers and Dallas Stars here. It's a weird reference, but I describe this Oilers team as like the Ghostbusters. When you hear the theme song, you're like, who are they going to call? And 2 of the 3 are going to show up, McDavid and Draisaitl. That third guy is like a rotating cast of characters of like Bouchard, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, and then maybe even Evander Kane will make an appearance at some point too. Fogle sometimes for his one episode a year, but it's really that way. And I mean, we've described Edmonton the past 3 years of saying, hey, they lack depth up front. Their defense is kind of subpar and their goaltending is an issue. And it seems like the same issue here. But credit to Stuart Skinner. I thought he played fantastic in that first game here. Shut down pretty much all the controversy around that. We'll see how he rebounds here. Looking at Ottinger, too, I was dived into his stats. He played decent in that first game. He struggled in game 1's Vegas. He was poor, sub 900 save percentage. Poor versus Colorado in that second series, sub 900 save percentage. I think he rebounds in this game here. He's proven himself more than worthy in this postseason here, so I don't mind that. But I'll start with you, Franco, in this one. What are you looking at in game 2 of the Oilers-Stars series?
Well, first of all, I wish we were getting a better number on the Stars. I understand why we're not getting that great number, but I'm still tempted by minus 135, to be honest with you. I might just take them in reg. Dallas has been great at adjusting all playoffs, really. They've lost, like you said, they've lost every game 1 so far, and yet they've won every series. So, and they've been home too. So they've been a better road team, and I think they don't want to have to rely on that again, where they're going down 0-2 or anything like that. So, I can't see them losing this game too, despite what we saw in game 1. Yeah, I agree with you though. Skinner looked pretty damn good. But we know Skinner at this point. He has his weaknesses, and they're going to adjust. And I think Dallas's depth is just so good, man. Like top to bottom. I don't know how Edmonton wins the series, regardless of the outcome of that first game. I kind of wish I had sprinkled the. I saw before the game Edmonton to win game 1 and Dallas to win the series was, I think it was like plus 400 or something like that. Because I was kind of leaning that situation where Edmonton was going to steal that game with the long rest for Dallas. It seems like that's been kind of a negative for teams, and then just their road or their game 1 record has just been poor in general in this playoff. But yeah, missed out on that. I mean, you can take this Dallas series price at this point is pretty decent. I saw like plus 160-ish or something like that. So I don't mind that. If you think Dallas is going to take the series, you're getting a lot better value than you were previously. So I don't know about like game totals and stuff like that. I haven't really looked at that yet, but it feels like a bounce back game. And again, I want to lean towards the over again. I took both of these overs, these game 1s. I feel like I'm an idiot waking up, the next day. But I think there's enough offensive firepower on both of these teams, just like in the Rangers Florida series, where there are going to be goals in these series. Like I don't think we're going to see 2-1, 3-0 type games every single game. So. Yeah, I think Dallas and the over is probably what I'm going to go to here.
Yeah, I do like Dallas in this matchup too. And going back to that point of teams coming off game 7, I mean, we saw it in that Florida-Boston series last round of game 1 happens. Everyone's like, all right, Panthers are going to take them. Like they're well-rested. Boston's coming off of game 7 against Toronto, and then Boston shocked us in that first game, winning 5-1 here. So, kind of the writing was on the wall, but obviously I fell for the trap with the over in that first game. And you look at Edmonton's style of play too, the past few games, especially in games 6 and 7, while Vancouver was the last in shots on goal this postseason. Dallas is 7th. but Edmonton feels like they're really like collapsing in on top of Skinner and trying to prevent any sort of dangerous situation there. You look at Sagan's 2 goals of one was like a tip from Ben, and then Ben just picked off who is it, Ekholm? Or
Kulak, I think.
Kulak, yeah. Kulak, and just kind of Sagan was there to tap in that rebound. So really no kind of high danger chances per se. If we're looking at that, I don't know if they can necessarily retain that style of play here against Dallas, just given their depth. So I'm curious to see how that kind of plays out. And Bouchard did hit his shots on goal last time, but it feels like CC, Ekholm, Kulak, Bouchard are more so staying back in the play now. They're not necessarily jumping up in that rush and trying to create those odd man chances like we've seen Edmonton really do, especially in that first round of the series. So curious to hear what your thoughts are on this series, Betsky.
I think it's going to be Edmonton.
Really?
I think McDavid's heating up. I think there's a little bit of destiny here where the best player in the world needs to get to a cup final.
Connor Bedard?
Jeez. I think it's going to probably go to game 7 too. I think next game, I like Dallas for sure for game 2. I don't know if I like the over or not yet. I guess I do. I think
how many beers for the over?
What?
I said, how many beers until you're on the over? That's the only question. You're drinking tomorrow,
no,
and you're
I do like
6.
the over too. No beers involved, and I think I'm on the over. But like, I can see this being especially if you can get the over 6, because then
it's
if it's a 4,
it's 5.5.
Okay, I'm looking at 6 on Bovada, but yeah, I like over 5.5. 4-2 game, 4-2 Dallas. But I think this is going to be too much for them. I just think that Onger hasn't had a stinker since that first game against Colorado. I think if he has 2 bad games here, I think the rug gets pulled from underneath him.
Going Wedgwood?
No. I don't think it's a matter of switching who starts. I think it's a matter of he can't get back to that.
Yeah.
What he's been unbelievable. I think he has the best goals saved above expected, right? Like by far, I thought.
I think that was.
He's been great. He has had some stinkers though, like you said. I would also say, what was the game that Colorado won later in the series?
Yeah,
that game was pretty bad. He left that one goal in the car that was like
really that's right, the 5-hole one. The
5-hole one. So I feel like he's been probably one of the best at adjusting and bouncing back after bad games. I would say we haven't really seen it much. Like guys have like a bad game and they kind of have like a decent game the next game. He's been more like bounce back and be damn good the next game.
Yeah,
so
that is true. And I think that's where my mind goes if
fire
he has
over though.
I think in my mind is if he has 2 bad ones in a row, is that where
that could be a problem.
Can't get back into that groove, but before the series is already over. I don't know. I just feel like, if it's not this year, when is it going to be for McDavid and crew? Just to get to the finals. I'm not even saying win it, even though I think they'll probably win it if they make it.
I tend to agree with you. Like they felt it's felt like they've been on the fringe of it for the last 2 years leading up to this one, kind of. Getting through Calgary that one year seemed that was like a difficult thing, and then losing Colorado the next season, right?
No, it was that year.
Or that was that year. They lost to Colorado.
Knew that was going to happen. Cup.
Yeah,
Colorado was destined that year.
They lost to
Vegas
last year. So like they kind of are like that,
whipping them right? That first game, killing them.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest question with Edmonton is like you said, what has always been like, can the depth produce? Like,
there's going to be games.
I agree. I still agree with that. But, there's going to be games where McDavid is silent and Draisaitl is silent. That we haven't really seen it from Draisaitl yet, but
no,
McDavid got shut down a bunch last series, which I thought was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I mean, we talk about it too of like, all right, can the depth produce? But then McDavid and Draisaitl combined for 4 points, and you're like, they don't need to. Yeah. It's crazy how like it's like that's the main argument against him. But you're like, nope, the top two guys are just said, fuck it, we're just going to do it all pretty much at this rate. So, and who knows
I think Hyman's a better player than he's ever been because I think he's bought in so much to that role. I think Bouchard is a better player than he's ever been, and I think he's showing why he should have gone much higher in that draft because he was the captain of the London Knights, just was a phenomenal leader, and we hadn't really seen that because he's such a young player, despite what he looks like. But I just think that this is like I just don't know what they do if they don't make it to the final. So maybe I'm just like putting that as like
you're just wishing it upon them.
There's definite incentive to like it almost seems like win this year or there will be changes, almost like that Toronto style, stuff that you hear every year from the Maple Leafs. But I mean, I've seen a lot of rumors about Draisaitl potentially leaving after the season if they don't get it done. So I mean, I don't know.
I think that's dumb. I think you retool everybody but them and Bouchard. Yeah. Because think of like Pittsburgh. They win one cup early in of the Malkin Crosby era. Then they don't win it again for several years, and they win 2 in a row with arguably like outside of Letang, Malkin, Crosby, and they didn't have Fleury at that point, right?
No, they probably
did, and he was
still did.
Because
leave for Vegas
he was their backup. I mean, they won with Matt Murray. Yep, that's right. And Vegas.
Yeah, but they got such production out of guys like Chris Kunitz and Pascal Dupuis and stuff like just Rust. Like guys that you're like, who the hell are where do these guys come from? And that's what Edmonton needs, those types of guys. I mean, that's what Hyman's turned into, right? Like we didn't think this highly of Hyman a few years ago. Let's be honest here. Now he's a prolific goal scorer.
Yep. But it was that Kessel, not Hagel. I always call him Hagel. The HBK line, Kessel, Bonino, and he had long hair and played for the Rangers.
Hagelin.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that guy.
That line was unbelievable for that first run. I mean, Kessel should have won the Conn Smythe that year when they beat the Preds. Then the second year, I think Crosby. The second year they handled the Sharks. But by then they were like a completely different team outside of Malkin, Crosby, and Letang.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the Edmonton needs to do. I think they need to get rid of Kane and move Holloway up, and maybe it's Henrique. And I don't know. I think Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is a great player, but I think that cap can be spent so much better.
Oh yeah, 100% agree with that.
You do need him.
He's just there because he's just been there for so long. It feels like they extended that contract so long ago, but. I love that they're giving Holloway a chance, man. I mean, like,
and he's looking
getting second line minutes has been awesome. Good for him.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. It just feels like this is a team that will get around Dallas. Maybe I'm hesitant because of Hintz being out and he hasn't looked good all playoffs, and Dallas has kind of had an easy run so far.
I don't think so.
Colorado
I would argue
not by the time they got
that was a brutal first round series.
Colorado wasn't the same team. I forgot they had Vegas. Never mind, they had Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas and Colorado is pretty brutal.
They had Vegas.
Compared to what Edmonton had. You know what I mean? And I think honestly, like if Skinner doesn't let in the goals that he let in against Vancouver, like he had some absolutely pathetic performances in that early in that series. Yeah. Edmonton should have been leading that series from it shouldn't even been close. Let's put it that way. When you really look we're watching that game or watching those games.
I'd agree.
So,
but I mean, Dallas by the time the Nichushkin stuff came out, got a very different Colorado team.
Oh yeah, I agree. That
incredibly different. Yeah,
I forgot it was Vegas round 1 though. Jeez.
Yeah, they went down 2-0.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm torn here. I'm still torn on the Rangers Florida series, even though I now think.
I mean, I think in general this is a treat for us as fans.
Yeah.
These are, I would argue, these are the 4 best teams. You don't always get this, right?
No.
Some team gets through that shouldn't have gotten through, or whatever the case is. This feels very clearly like these are the 4 best teams, and let's just sit back and enjoy.
Yeah, but in terms of a betting perspective, I don't think that necessarily correlates to all that fun. I mean,
we're just losing money.
Yeah, no, as a fan, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, what was it? Remember Montreal made it through in the bubble too, and it was just easy. You just faded them every game as soon as they made the Stanley Cup. It was a great little profit. You just looked at Tampa Bay props, I felt like, and you're like, all right, this is easy.
The worst playoffs ever.
Hey man, I made so much money on Montreal that year because I just kept betting them because they kept being plus money every year.
Yeah,
I guess they keep winning. I don't know how they're doing it, but here we go. So
Carey Price was just out of this world.
He was awesome that year. It's crazy that he's just gone now.
Yeah, I think he's still.
It's hilarious that was Montreal and Tampa because of the way the league was set up.
Yeah, the different bubbles of what one was in Edmonton. Toronto had one.
No, it was Canada. Canada was
all
bubble.
in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because of the conferences.
Yeah, we're all
of Canada. Then was it only 3 conferences? I think they divided the league in 3 that year. It was West, East, and weird. Canada. And I don't remember how they even set up the playoffs. The play-in round.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Arizona made the playoffs that year.
Yeah, Buffalo didn't. Still, pretty much everyone else did. Great.
Well, Nashville didn't because we knocked them out.
Yeah, looking to props here in this game. I think we're all kind of expecting a Dallas bounce back here, and the one guy that, for me at least, that's Wyatt Johnston going back to his shots at 2.5 here. So he missed last game with 2, but he did have 7 attempts, and his attempts have been fantastic so far with 5, 8, 12, and 5 in his last 5. And he's hitting 3 of his last 5. So he's proven himself this postseason, so I don't mind that. And I think you're getting that around minus 130. So I'll probably look at him in terms of player props for Dallas. But off the top of your heads, or if you guys have done any research, any guys are looking at target, are you going back to Sagan here? But yeah. Sagan point.
Back to Sagan.
Yes, I mean
point
Sagan
or assist or shots. Ben Point at home. Ben is killer. He's hitting, I think it's now 7 of 9 home games, the playoffs.
And if we're buying the over, I mean McDavid over 1.5 is minus 115. Dry sales plus 130 for over 1.5.
See, I just don't know if the over is going to be coming from Edmonton.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's tricky. I'm just saying the price on those is just fantastic considering what we saw last round.
You know what I would be interested in to see is Wyatt 2 points, what that is and how that looks.
Yeah, that could be good.
Bouchard assist too has been a great little money maker this series or this whole playoffs. Excuse me. So that could be another look here. But what did you say you're looking at? Johnston 2 points.
Yeah.
It's plus 360 right now on DK.
Jeez.
So
yeah, it's pretty good.
It's not terrible.
Not bad at all. Yeah. If you like to, another one, Dallas just to win the first period, not even the spread. Like usually you have to do like minus a half or whatever, is minus 130. So that might be a good look too. Like you could split like a unit between them in reg or something like that maybe, and then to win the first period is minus 130. And if it's tied, you just push. So I don't mind that push protection for minus 130. And again, it's the same as the Rangers, where I expect these teams to come out. You're at home. You have to win a game at home. You can't go down 0-2 and go to the road. So just another look. You can't bet their team total or anything. So -130 for them to win the first period is good.
Yeah, their team total for the first period over a half is -170. So that's kind of out of the range in terms of a straight bet there.
I'll be looking at it live, though.
Yeah, no, I completely agree here. If 5 minutes goes by and it looks like they're dominating, maybe they'll get a power play after that and kind of put one in here. Any looks on goalie props here? Are you looking to back maybe Ottinger under 2.5 goals against here? Any sort of props I feel like in terms of relating to Skinner are tough, just based on the volatility he's displayed so far of trying to look at his shots or saves, excuse me, or goals against. Maybe you look at his goals against at 2.5. I don't hate that.
Oh yeah, I would actually prefer that over the over.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's up yet because they haven't been confirmed, but
I doubt it's going to be a very bettable price.
-150 on DK.
Yeah.
But again, like I would just say you look for 2.5 live, like Dallas team total over 2.5 live. You're gonna be, unless they score in the first 2 minutes or something, you should probably be able to get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. All right. Any other closing thoughts on this game here?
What about Skinner over saves? 24.5. Sorry.
I don't
trust him.
Yeah.
I don't trust him at all.
If he gets pulled, I guess there's the pull. Yeah. That just seems so low. I know the game went to 2. Well, it really went to 1 overtime. Scored like a minute into it. But he had 33 shots against, 31 saves.
Yeah, but the first period there was like a total of 11 shots.
But again, like Dallas has to come out, right? Like, are they going to really put up 4 shots again? Come on.
Dallas sold 33 shots, but I guess OT.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
24.5 seems really low. Like, I think their books are still expecting Edmonton's like defensive, what they did against Vancouver, but I think a lot of that was Vancouver as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, Vancouver was missing pieces. Like they just didn't look very healthy either, I think, and they were really struggling to get pucks on that. This team, like Edmonton's not as good defensively as what Dallas has seen. They've been able to put up shots.
Yeah, like I said, I think Skinner's play maybe in Game 7 was inflated due to Vancouver's lack of shot quality and just lack of attempts as well. I mean, Vancouver is dead last this postseason in shots for per game played, but Dallas is 7th right now. So I could see that start to pick up. And I was trying to figure out how many shots Dallas had just in regulation here. Yeah, before overtime. So they had 33 total. And they had 9 in OT. So, it would have been 24. So right around that margin. But you expect that attempts to at least kind of bump up here in Game 2.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't shoot, they had like 4 in the first period, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm just looking on FanDuel. They have like first period total shots on goal props or whatever. It says Dallas to record 8+ is -405. Them to record 10+ is -140. So, FanDuel's at least expecting them to get 10 or 11 shots on goal in the first. So if that happens, you're well on your way.
Yeah. No, I don't mind that at all. Any other thoughts on this game here?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Good. Do you guys want to put together a parlay for tonight, or do you want to save it for tomorrow?
No, we could do that for tonight.
Okay. All right. Well, let's put together one for tonight here. If you guys have a play that you really like, just let me know and I will. I'll add it. We're gonna go same game parlay.
Trocheck 2.5 shots.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you want to do Lafreniere point with that?
Do you trust his point or shots more?
I do trust his shots more, but
okay.
I'm also fine with leaving that off because I'm taking that as a straight.
I'll add that as my leg. I don't mind that at all at plus 105. And then are you looking at anything?
6 attempts less game. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Are you looking at anything Florida side here? I know we mentioned Kachuk assist.
Can we same game his assist? Yeah, you can on DK.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I mean, that should give us some pretty juicy odds. If you want to do something a little bit safer, quote unquote, we could do
just look at like point.
I was just going to say another 1.5 shots guy. Or just his point, yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
So if you had his point here, it gets us up to plus 365. You got Trocheck at 2.5, Lafreniere at 2.5, and Kachuk at over 0.5 point.
I like that.
So I don't think that's awful. Yeah, I don't mind that at all.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Let's do it.
All right. Any other closing thoughts here before we wrap this up? Official score predictions for tonight. We'll do that.
4-2 Rangers.
I was originally going to say 3-2 Rangers, but
yeah, on the over?
I think 4-2 Rangers. No.
No, you didn't fully get convinced there? You're just staying off the
No,
total?
yeah. I think I like 4-2 Rangers because I like that empty net chance here if the Rangers are leading on top of it, even though we haven't seen many empty nets.
No, teams are way more content to just get it. Don't ice it. Just get it to the red line.
Yep. But they're not getting many opportunities with the empty net either because of it.
No, I agree.
But yeah, I like the 4-2 because yeah. I also could see it being 4-2 Panthers too on this flip side. You know, like I like that score of 4-2, I think. Or even a 4-3. I mean, that's pretty much what the whole Carolina series was like.
There's got to be more goals.
I agree now. I am totally in agreement that there has to be more goals. I should dart though, so let's lock that bad boy in, get it out, and let people get on with their Memorial Day weekend. Enough of us.
All right, let's do it. All right, you guys want to shout out your socials one last time?
Yeah, I'm Gretzky Betsky's on Twitter and part of the Parlay Science Discord.
And I'm Frank of the Banker on Twitter.
Awesome. I'm Gator Betting on Twitter and at Gator Sports Betting on Instagram. We appreciate Evan for tuning in on today's preview, and we hope you guys have a great Memorial Day weekend.